What is up, geeks and gamers? It's Odin coming back with another video, and it has been way too long, but we have it. We finally have a box office breakdown video. Not that there's a whole lot of box office news going on right now, but I figured, hey, it's been a while. I haven't made a video for the channel for a while. The channel, I think, needs me. I'm kidding. But we do have some box office news to talk about. But before I get into it, please make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe. And also, if you want to support me, shameless plug right here, I actually have a brand new channel where I talk about news and politics and current events called the OMB Report. You can find me on Twitter at OMB Report. Also, find me on YouTube at the OMB Report. Thank you very much for that support. But anyway, let's dive right into the news here, because The Croods, A New Age, a sequel to a film that no one really wanted to see. I've heard some people say actually they enjoyed it, but definitely not a sequel that anyone was asking for, has dominated the weekend with $21 million offshore, while Tenet is still making some money, topping $300 million, which is still probably close to $100 million left it needs to make up in order for it to turn a profit. And a film called Demon Slayer, which has been killing the marketplace in Japan, actually to a pretty surprising degree, and we'll get into that into today's news. So here from Deadline Box Office, we've got this report. DreamWorks Animation Universal's The Croods, A New Age led the weekend in China, of all places. Patui, we spit at you, with a $19.2 million debut. Of course, Disney gets barely any of that, but then again, when Disney gets into bed with commies and helps support their attempt to destroy an entire race of people, well, guess what? Patui, I guess you don't deserve that money in the first place. Outpacing local titles 1 second and caught in time as it got a huge Saturday boost. This is the third best bow for a studio movie in the Middle Kingdom during the pandemic era, behind Tenet and Mulan. Oh yes, let's mention Mulan and how well it did in China. By the way, Disney, hopefully you're feeling the effects of some financial troubles because of your crappy deals with China and Mulan specifically. In total, the Croods sequel opened in 7 offshore markets for a combined $20.8 million at international box office. They were also number one starts in Saudi Arabia, of all places, Vietnam, and the UAE. Kind of interesting that a film centering on a female, specifically a female-led character, doing well in Saudi Arabia and the UAE. It's a little bit surprising, at least for me. The worldwide opening estimate includes domestic is $35 million whopping dollars, which really isn't a whole lot for a animated film. Typically, those would make northwards of $100 million in its opening weekend, especially when you add international marketplaces. But we are still in the midst of a really crappy pandemic where theaters have been forced to close, all the while studios continue to make money because they're friends with everyone in politics and Hollywood and media and big tech are all in it together. And so they're the ones laughing, they're the ones enjoying everything, all the while the theaters are the ones dying. And the theaters used to be those temples where we could escape to, and sadly they are just going by the wayside. So congratulations, Croods 2. You made some money. Not nearly enough to keep everything open, but seriously, major studios, start opening up your movies. Put them out there. If people want to see them, they will go to see them. But you're not doing it, and so therefore theaters are dying. Well, we're not putting them out there because there's not a lot of people seeing movies. Yes, because you're not putting your movies out there. It's a self-defeating prophecy. Anyway, sorry, I'm ranting today, but that's just how it is. This is a solid start for the animated film that comes 7 years after the original. I can't believe it's been 7 years. I honestly cannot believe it has been 7 years since the first one came out. Lord almighty. And yet somehow, some way, someone in the studio was like, you know what this world needs right now? You know what obviously they didn't know this at the time, but you know what 2020 needs? They need a sequel to The Croods. That's what everyone's asking for, right? Right? Guess not. Directed by Joel Crawford, it has a strong word of mouth in China. Really does it. 9.1 on Maoin and Taiopia. And I don't know that one specifically, but I do know 8.2 on Dubon. So Dubon and Maoin are two of the biggest aggregators of ratings. So think of it as their version of, I guess, a Rotten Tomatoes, more in line with other type of situations, kind of like a Cinema Score type situation, though I think they're a little bit better at tracking things because Cinema Score, as we all know, is just not that good. Play increased by 191% from Friday to Saturday when it took in more than 1/3 of the market's box office. Sunday saw just a 15% decrease from the previous day. Okay, good job, Croods. That's great on you. The Weekend is 3 times the original movie's 2013 launch. That's interesting. That film was a bona fide hit, going on to gross $63.3 million in China at the time before its extended run was cut short. The second prehistoric tune could get up to that neighborhood when looking at a few factors. Namely, there are a number of movies that have done a three multiple since cinemas reopened in the Middle Kingdom. Learn what? Deadline. Come on. And the social scores and word of mouth are there for a new age. It's currently dominating midweek pre-sales. However, there's expected to be competition for screens in the upcoming frames. Now, that actually makes kind of sense as to why there is a big word of mouth, probably because it's a movie, it's a brand new movie, and it's a kid's movie. And so I think that is something that a lot of people all across the world, no matter what country you're in, are really wanting to have, because guess what? People want to go out. People want to go out and spend time with their families and not have to just be cooped up in their homes looking at you, Gavin Newsom and Andrew Cuomo. No one wants to be forced to be locked down for a pandemic or anything for that matter, right? People like to have freedom. People like to have the ability to go out and support a movie and go see a movie with their family. And also, if you had to be cooped up with your kids all day and didn't have a chance to get out and let them watch something and be distracted for an hour and a half to 2 hours, yeah, I can imagine that it'd probably drive a lot of people crazy. So it makes a lot of sense as to why this film is doing as well as it is. In IMAX, Croods 2 grossed $2 million from 671 China screens, good for 10.5% of the gross. IMAX is also still playing The Demon Slayer, so this is getting into The Demon Slayer, as I said, doing crazy numbers, breaking records really in Japan. The movie Mugen Train in Japan, where the film continues to dominate, official figures will come on Monday, but estimates we are hearing, have the anime adaptation now topping 27 billion yen to become the number 2 movie ever in Japan, overtaking Titanic, and with just Spirited Away at 30.8 billion yen ahead of it. Looks like that will happen. Now, of course, I believe that those are unadjusted for inflation numbers, but still, the fact that you have a brand new film in 2020 during the midst of a pandemic, breaking records to the point of making more than Titanic, which was one of the biggest films ever, and Spirited Away, which is one of the biggest Japanese films ever. I mean, come on, America. What the hell is wrong with you? Oh, wait, that's right. We have a Hollywood system that continues to push all of their films back to 2021. We have a government system that continues to want to shut things down and destroy the economy. And oh yeah, that's right. Let's maybe try going Japan's route, because guess what? Japan is showing people are hungry for movies, and not just any movie, but good movies. From what I'm hearing from reviews, it is getting very positive ratings. And so guess what? If you put out good movies, people will go to your theaters. And guess what? If people go to your theaters, it means more people will start to put money into those theaters, which means you're more likely to want to put more movies out there. You see how this works, Hollywood? You can't just sit back and wait on all your films and then expect, oh yeah, well, don't worry, the government's going to take care of the theater chains for us. It's not a guarantee. And I sure hope not, because that means that you'll probably get some money too. And screw you, Hollywood. You're one of the reasons why we're going through the chaos that we're going through right now. Elsewhere, Warner Brothers' Tenet has crossed $300 million in the international box office, with $300.4 million total through Sunday. Offshore has been the key driver of the Christopher Nolan time twister because, again, American markets suck right now, with 84% of the gross from the international markets. The world cumulative is $357.8 million. This is still with 15 markets yet to release, including Argentina, India, Indonesia, and the Philippines. So still some markets that have not released Tenet as of yet. In fact, I would even say that America really hasn't had a full release of the film yet either, because many states are still closed or half closed or open for a little bit and then reclosed, and oh my gosh, the world's going to end, when really, guess what, guys? The world's going to be okay. We're going to be fine. Everything's fine. 99.9% survival rate. But again, that's for a whole other video, but it is still important because it does play into the box office news. It does help to explain why these numbers are the way they are. Again, Tenet was supposed to be a massive box office hit, and the fact that it's made as much as it has, given all the circumstances, is still very impressive. And there is still a world where that film can make money in its post-theatrical release. The 4K release is already on pre-sale. I already bought my, or rather pre-ordered my 4K Steelbook from Best Buy, so it is available for pre-order if you have either not seen it and want to, or did see it and loved it. Again, kind of got mixed reviews on that because that sound design was not very good. However, the story and the cinematography and all the visual elements were amazing, and I obviously want to dive further into the mind of Nolan on that film and want to dive into those special features. And maybe, just maybe, The sound, though the mix won't be different, will be just a little bit easier to hear if I have headphones on or watch it on my own local system. But anyway, that is the box office news for this weekend. What are your thoughts on it? Do you think that Tenet is going to make its money back once it comes out on 4K? I think it will. I think that because it makes so much money post-release on that, because it costs the studio is essentially nothing in comparison to put out those DVDs and Blu-rays and 4Ks. And again, they make raw profits on that. I think that it'll do pretty well. Demon Slayer, have you heard anything about it? Do you think you want to see it? Again, looks like it's a pretty good film, breaking records. Probably gonna go past Spirited Away not too long from now, which is pretty crazy when you think about just how popular Spirited Away is still even to this day. Most people, when you ask them what is your favorite anime or animated film of all time, most of them will say Spirited Away. So that's pretty impressive. But again, it beat Titanic. It beat the Titanic, which is crazy and is insane. And also, what are your thoughts on the Croods 2? Did you know there was a Croods 2? Did you even know there was a Croods 1? I did, and I watched it 7 years ago. I can't believe it's been 7 years, and I was like, oh yeah, it's okay. But anyway, let me know your thoughts about this and anything else I mentioned in the comment section below. If you like this video, make sure you smash that like button and hit that subscribe. Seriously, it helps us out a lot. And yeah, we always appreciate your love and support. And yes, the box office breakdowns are back, at least for today. Hopefully, I can continue to do this more so in the future. And again, shameless plug again, if you want to continue to support my work, go ahead and check out my channel, which has now been rebranded to OMB Reviews. So typically it's Odin's Movie Blog, but it is OMB Reviews. Is what it now is, and talk about movies, pop culture, box office-y stuff, doing television reviews, putting up some older reviews from a previous channel I had, so that's a lot of fun as well. But also the newest channel, the OMB Report. Again, if you like to have more political news, religious commentary. And again, I allegedly have a movie blog. Maybe. You can't prove it. You can go ahead and check that out and help support me. Anyway, you guys are seriously all amazing and beautiful people. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful day and a wonderful Thanksgiving and a wonderful everything. And good luck. And hopefully we can all go outside and smile and hug each other once again soon. Not that I want to hug you, but hey, it is what it is. Have a wonderful day, everybody. And as always, God bless. And now for a huge shout out to all of my December Patreon and Subscribe Star members, starting off with Patreon, Albertus Magnus, Andrew Hoyle, Animation Commentator, Brian P., Dion, Divex, Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father, Father Damian Cook, Garrett Searles, Harold Francis, The Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, It's a Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jacob Juice, Jay, Jeffrey Toon, Jonathan Carney, Kenneth Cameo, Laura Story, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mike Jackson, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin with the beautiful hair, On to June, Orange Hat Reviews, Out of Step with Reality, Outpost Dyer, Riff Magos, Rosetta Allen, Steve Glasker, Miss Martin Muses, also known as Teresa Martin, Theodore Bendon, Tina Bogend, Tina B, and the Modern Major General, Laura Story. Gotta give you that shout out for that one time that you were doubled up. Thank you very much for being my Patreon members. And now a huge shout out to all of my December Subscribe Star members we have over there with Stand For, Perpetual Punster, Robert Revo, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, Darkstar 57, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., US 888209 Fast, Dean Heiss, J-Rod the Beer Guru, Nevadan G. Adams, and ZK Man. Thank you all so much for being my Patreon and Subscribe Star members. If you want your name shouted out at the end of every video and live stream on the main channel, please consider joining over on those platforms. You can also get access to things like exclusive giveaways of 4Ks, Blu-rays. If you want a DVD, I guess you could also get a DVD as well, digital codes, and of course, you get to possibly join me on the channel once a month for the Chosen of Valhalla live stream and access to an exclusive podcast featuring John the Flick Pick Flickinger, where we have a lot of fun talking about movies and tons of other random things. Anyway, if you want to support these things, check out the links in the description of this video. And also, please consider joining my other channel, the OMB Report, where I talk about not just movies like I do over here, but I focus more so on politics, news, and culture in that order. You guys are all amazing. Thank you for your love and support. Have a wonderful day. And as always, God bless.